Alright, today's the day. I went to Home Depot and I bought a bunch of like these trays, right? You can see the old one versus the new one. But I bought like 12 of those. So I've got enough to line all of my walls. Hold on. There we go. Alright, so I got equipment up against the east window, so the morning light, which is softest, will not really have plants. But then we got 4 by the front window, more by these 2 windows, and then it wraps around Jack Skellington's side all the way to the wall. So no matter where you are, you're covered in plants. And my sister just did a bunch of research for me to figure out which ones are annuals, which ones are perennials, which ones are worth saving, and which ones can probably make it out here. And it seems like, oh, I need a hoodie. All right, I'm hoodie-fied. So it seems like tonight's gonna be the first 30-degree night. It's gonna be under freezing, so we really need to bring them in. Today's the day. All right, fiddle leaf fig. Oh my God. Definitely coming inside. Apparently my mom was gonna take one of these home with her, but it didn't fit in her car. All right, ferns definitely coming in. Mosquito plants definitely coming in. The mums, I think, only have... Oh, these came from another catering job, by the way, that my sister worked. But these, I think, only have the... what are they called? Annuals. So their entire life cycle happens in the one season. I'm going to bring these guys in. I'm not sure if they're annual or perennial, but I like them and I want them to live. The reds, whatever those are, I just found the name, but I forget it. Those are annual, so they're going to die. The creeping Jenny is perennial, and then the cannas are perennial. But the pots might be big enough that they won't freeze totally. The hope is that the pot will simulate the ground because it's so large. If there's enough dirt in there, then they might not freeze the roots. So yeah, that's the idea. So I'm bringing in these ferns and that fiddle leaf also. Then we've got the honeysuckle that I got with my sister at the lake. The Japanese maple. I think my sister wants to let the giant chive die because she's not going to use it. So I'm just going to leave this one outside probably because we don't care about the dill either. This was the kiwis, and there is always a chance that a kiwi root could pop back up, but only if I bring it in. So there is a gamble here that I'm going to bring this pot in and take up a spot, a valuable spot, when it's not going to do anything. It's a risk we have to take because Spirit doesn't want us to ever give up on the possibility, the hope, right? So we're going to do that. Then the white oak, 2 rose bushes, which have gained a fair amount of size this year, and the willow. Then we've got grasses, which have seen some better days, but they're in the offshoot. They're at the point where they're seeding off. You can see all these little fuzzies coming out, and they're looking pretty dead down there, except for like the center, which has some green. I don't know if the grasses are going to be able to survive more than one season or not, but who knows. Begonias can be annual or perennial, so we're not actually sure what these are going to do, what those are going to do, whether they're going to come back or whether they're going to stay down. And then the ones that I have to still Google are the hanging baskets in the back. Because the Silver Falls vine, I think that's what it's called. There's a climbing silver. No, that's an Naruto. From the chess game. Shogun. This one. So I don't know if these come back every year or not, but I might try and save them just to see if I can. I really like the vines. These, I don't know, they look hardy to me. They're very pretty. So it's cold as fuck right now. But I'm gonna start moving things and I'll show you guys once we're done. This is it. This is what we got. I don't know if this is going to be workable. I don't know if I'll be able to work out with everything in here. It's worth a shot. Maybe I'll try it. but it's gonna be dicey. So, mosquito plant, honeysuckle, willow. Then behind the willow is the rose bush. Another mosquito plant, which I ran out of trays. I had to use a lid for that. The oak, fiddle leaf fig, which is huge. The holly, which has the cutest little berry right now. Isn't she cute? Well, I'd forgotten that she was a girl, so that's awesome. I got my watering cans. That's the Japanese maple, which was rooting really nicely, apparently. And another fiddle leaf, which is, again, massive. Got the other rose bush over here, which is kind of like reaching towards the window a little bit. And then, this is the clusterfuck. We've got fern, grass, fern, grass, fern. And like, loading the weight on that side is going to be the trick. Like, maybe I could do it, but it would be a little bit dicey. If I dropped a weight, it's over for whatever plant's under there. And the heater might be bad for the ferns and the dormant plants, because all the ones that are dormant, they don't need heat. They just need to not freeze. That's the thing. They don't need heat, they just need to not freeze. But the fiddle leaf is the only thing in here that really needs light. The ferns need indirect light. The grasses might also need indirect light, but they usually survive winter. And even though they don't look very lively right now, they are green in there. It's going to be a bitch and a half to water, by the way, which I should only have to do every like 2 weeks. But getting in there and watering the individual ferns and the grasses is going to suck. Like, just look at this. You can't even see the pots. And like the kiwis down there. But like, this is not only more plants than I was bargaining for, it's also like trickier space-wise than I thought it would be. I wasn't anticipating this much volume. And my next order of business is the hanging plants. I'm going to try and hang them up against the curtain rods. I don't know if that's going to work. Maybe it will. I'm not going to be pessimistic about it. But I don't know if these even survive winter. So these, I'm going to